Hello friends, welcome back to Rose to Row and Astrology. I am your host, Mel Rose. This is your astrology preview for the 24th decan of the year, August 23 through September 1st, represented in Tarot by the Eight of Pentacles. First, I want to say, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the notifications bell. It all helps me out a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now let's get into it. The Eight of Pentacles keywords are dedication, mastery, craftsmanship, and high standards. We achieve valuable results when we work to do one thing very well, and that is something worth keeping in mind as we navigate the next week or so. This 10-day segment includes both the first quarter moon this Thursday and the full moon next Wednesday. We're very much in a mode of tying up our plans and beginning to act on them so we can have some accomplishments to celebrate with that full moon. And just taking an overview of the page before zooming in, I want to point out that we have a lot of transitions in the coming 10 days. The sun moves on into Virgo today, which is Wednesday the 23rd, and Mercury stations retrograde today as well. Also, Mars moves on into Libra on Sunday the 27th, and Uranus stations retrograde the next day. So some planets are turning to the next chapter while others appear to be backtracking. The sun moving on into Virgo tells us that we're about 4 weeks from the fall equinox. This is the period in late summer when people are getting back to school and rearranging their lives around the goals of the coming months. Eight of Pentacles style. Those goals include studying your subject until you have mastered it, because it will be valuable to you in the long run. The sun will be in Virgo until the fall equinox on September 24. As Mars moves into Libra, we are more inclined to ask questions before acting. We may be prone to stir the pot when something doesn't seem fair. And sometimes calling attention to imbalances can get us into trouble. The guidance would be to choose your battles out of necessity, not impatience. Mars will be in Libra until October 13. By the end of this period, we will have 6 planets retrograde plus Chiron. Mercury's retrograde is the most affecting because it shakes up our daily routines, bringing fun challenges in our attempts to plan and have conversations. Generally, the advice is to read the fine print and ask all the questions you need to before signing a contract or committing long-term to anything. The other guidance I have to offer is that listening is half of communication. If you feel like no one is listening to you, understand that we are all under this influence and likely having similar experiences. Often, the answer is simply to listen to what someone else has to say. Respect will be returned. Mercury's retrograde lasts until September 15th, and it clears the shadow on September 30th. Uranus's retrograde right here is more of an us and we experience than a just me experience, but you may notice a desire to reflect on the changes you've been through in the past year, what new things have been easy to integrate, and what has given you more trouble. Identifying those obstacles may offer some clues to where you can choose between setting a boundary and embracing a possibility. And Uranus's retrograde will go direct again late January of 2024. Aside from that, we have a trine, 2 quincunxes, and an opposition on the page. Planets often aspect Pluto before moving on to the next sign, and Thursday the 24th, Mars is harmonizing with Pluto retrograde, bringing ease to our efforts to incorporate the life-altering discoveries of the past year. If something previously unknown comes up at this time, you may find yourself taking action to resolve an outstanding problem. Just know that with the trine involved there, we'll have a lot of ease and grace moving through those transitions, and that grace is on our side until about September 6th. On Sunday the 27th, when Mars is moving into Libra, The Sun opposes Saturn. This is a vibe of tension or conflict between self-expression and desire for status or security. Your ambitions may outstrip your resources, so be careful. Saturn retrograde in Pisces has a feeling like content's under pressure. It may be best to revise your plan of action to relieve the stress on a situation. Even if it means achieving things at a slower pace, you can still make progress while not having to push too hard. This vibe will linger until about September 4th. And Wednesday the 30th, Mercury retrograde has to make an adjustment in conversation with Chiron retrograde. I see this having a lot to do with self-talk. How you think and talk about yourself can decrease your ability to recognize what's going right for you so that you no longer need to put up a defense. When you're struggling to see your own progress, try being kind and encouraging to yourself. This accommodation vibe will be with us through about September 3rd. So overall, we have about 8 days of transition and accommodation as we work to accomplish things in time for that full moon on Wednesday, the 30th. Receive the message that your plans are revisable. You can ask questions, gather information, and change your course of action to avoid obstacles and keep moving. And this includes breaking up your larger plans into smaller actionable items that represent progress nonetheless. The full moon in Pisces will be a time to celebrate in artistic, compassionate style. This is a great full moon for creating beautiful works, connecting with friends and loved ones, and connecting with spirit in gratitude for a life worth living. And then on Friday, the 1st of September, Mars falls into that mode of accommodation with Saturn retrograde. The moon is now waning, so whatever it is you plan to do, it may be best to defer action long enough to gather what information you need to adjust your plans for the sake of stability. And this one lasts till about September 6th. That's it for today's preview, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. The next decan video will go up Saturday, September 2. That's the day before Venus completes her retrograde and turns direct. I certainly want to know what happens next, and I hope that you will join me. Thanks again for being here today, and I'll see you all in the next video.